Thank you to my team for their efforts as well. Yeah, British boxing. One thing when I first started boxing, I said I want to bring the heavyweight division back alive in the UK, and I think we've done that.
In a stunning announcement following his fight with Daniel Dubois, British heavyweight boxer Anthony Joshua has made a bombshell announcement. The former unified heavyweight champion had long teased his retirement at 37, and with that milestone now reached, it appears the boxing world may have to prepare for life without one of its most recognizable stars.
There you go, Dan.
Well, we sparred hundreds of rounds, didn't it?
You cracked him, Daniel. So you know you can hurt.
It's sparring, now we're fighting, it's different, you know?
I think it's different.
Ready to go. Move on now. You can move on now.
Joshua's alleged retirement announcement follows a distinguished career marked by numerous championships, unforgettable matches, and his journey from Olympic gold medalist to global superstar. As the end of his career looms, let's dive into his recent statements and key milestones that have brought him to this moment.
You got to really put your foot down sometimes and let someone know, I ain't here to play games. Watch yourself. And that's what it was. If someone tells you, come on, let's go now. You know, no, I'm not ready. You say, what? Let's go.
2 years ago, Anthony Joshua made it clear that he intended to retire by the age of 37, a milestone he has now reached. Although he initially planned to retire at 35, he later extended that timeline, believing his body could endure the physical demands of boxing for a couple more years now. At 37, Joshua feels the time is right to step away from the sport that made him a global icon.
But I just didn't want to highlight that fight and say that's the only thing that's brought change to my boxing style and how I wanted to approach my boxing, because it's happened in the amateurs right the way through my career. I've taken losses, but I definitely use it as a platform to get stronger, to build on. Obviously, mine's echoed to the world, like my wins and losses and how I deal with them. Always different. But how I've moved forward from my last loss is I went around the world, went to Texas for a bit, worked with Derek, which was really good. Actually, we went and sourced the trainer from America with Robert Garcia as well, which was a great experience.
In his final quest for glory, Joshua has expressed a burning desire to face off against UFC champion Francis Ngannou. Before I retire, I want to take on Ngannou, Joshua said.
You're 34 now. Every year, every Christmas that passes, you get that little bit older, a little bit wiser, a little bit closer to one day retiring, as you spoke about earlier. When it comes to the beginning of Anthony Joshua in terms of on the public scene, it was at 2012 Olympics. So the Olympics is back around. 4 years from now, the Olympics will be back around. Do you think you'll still be in the ring 4 years from now? Because you'd be 38, same age as Artur Beterbiev, who had an amazing performance of the weekend. Do you see yourself carrying on that long?
Definitely not. Definitely not.
So then in that time frame, I don't want you to say a date because obviously anything can happen, but what do you want to achieve before you finally hang up your boots?
Beat Francis Ngannou. And that's my main goal. You know, if you look at it from where I'm sitting, that's my main goal right now, is to just beat Francis Ngannou.
Anthony Joshua's motivation has never been about money. It's tough. And when I feel like I don't have much power left, that's when I'll retire, he revealed.
You see, when you make about money, you make silly decisions, because in the fight game, you have to face the music. Money can't be a driving force. So it's not the money. It's because I got a chance to be great at something. I got a chance to be good at something. It's tough, don't get me wrong. Do you know what I was thinking today when I was in the gym? I see 1 or 2 people yawning. And I thought, the general public are tired. Imagine how tired an athlete is, having to push themselves every day, like physically. You know what I mean? So I was thinking, if the general public are tired, imagine an athlete that should be tired.
His ambition, however, goes beyond titles and paychecks. He has always aimed to push himself to the limit, achieving greatness. In the process, what do you think has been Joshua's most significant achievement in his career?
Anthony Joshua, I'm going to quote him here. He said, I've always said 35. I'm 35 in October. I'm thinking another 2 years or so if my body holds out. I've set up certain businesses that I can transition into naturally, which don't rely on me being at the forefront. Yeah, he's I know he's a stakeholder with the Zone. He's 258. He's got a lot of other things outside of boxing. So he will definitely be a busy guy whenever he retires. But yes, he doesn't necessarily need boxing. He could retire now, really. It's not like he's fighting for money. He doesn't need to fight really at all if he didn't want to. He's made enough from boxing and he's got those business interests, but you would imagine he still has stuff that he wants to do from a fighting sense, from a career point of view in boxing, and then go out. It's really crazy to think that Joshua's going to be 35 come October, because it genuinely seems like only yesterday he made his pro debut. It seems like only yesterday he was fighting Charles Martin for the IBF title. In fact, actually, we're nearly at that, and I think it was April 9th, was it not, 2016? So yeah, we're nearly at that anniversary of the Charles Martin fight. And 2016 was a weird year in boxing. It was a crap year in boxing. For those who were watching boxing, you'll know it was a crap year. There wasn't much happening in 2016. Well, there was fights happening, but they didn't really have there wasn't any real big fights.
It's hard to believe that Anthony Joshua, who will turn 35 in October, is nearing the end of his career. It feels like just yesterday that he made his professional debut, showcasing his raw power and athleticism to the world. Time, however, has passed quickly, and Joshua is now ready to retire after an illustrious career filled with championships, epic fights, and unforgettable moments.
You know, in 2016, I was watching them thinking, oh, I'd love for, Wilder to fight Joshua to fight Klitschko, or Fury and Klitschko. I'd love to just, be gone, and these are the guys now who are on top. And it's sad in a way, because we're kind of seeing the end. I don't imagine Usyk sticking around much longer. I don't imagine Fury sticking around much longer. Joshua was talking about calling it quits in 2 years, 2026, which is not that far away. It's really not. You don't miss 2 years flying. You really don't. I've already said 2016 does not seem like a long, and 8 years in the grand scheme of things is not really a long time in the grand scheme of things. But for it to go by just like that, it's crazy. And that's the difference between, I guess, one era to the next. Joshua, Wilder was a young champion at the time. Fury had just dethroned Klitschko a few months earlier. The heavyweight division was just, we were like, oh yeah, these are all the new guys. And now you do look at them as the old guard, because they are on their way out. Not in the sense of they're finished, as in they're over the hill, but you just know, like, time waits for no man. The age is there, and you're like, they won't be around much longer. It really is crazy to think about it, really.
One of the most anticipated bouts that boxing fans have been clamoring for is a matchup between Anthony Joshua and Tyson Fury. Fury has been vocal about his desire to fight Joshua before he retires.
There's always been, though, I don't think I can retire today, because I need that Joshua fight. We have been trying to make that fight for years, right?
Why do you need that fight?
Because it's the fight that people want to see. It's the fight that I want to see as a boxing fan.
But then there'll be, I need Joshua too, because the result he wasn't happy with, or I wasn't happy with it. I just fear there'll always be an Anthony Joshua.
I've already said that. They'll all, like the Roman general said, and we beat everybody now. He said, yeah, there'll always be somebody else. In the beginning of the Gladiator movie.
Yeah.
Remember it?
Yeah.
Where he goes, we've conquered the world. And he goes, there'll always be somebody else to fight. There'll always be another war.
Yeah.
And it's going to be somebody else. Like before, for the last 4 or 5 years, there's been this three-headed monster. Me, Wilder, Joshua. Joshua and Wilder have been slain, and I'm the last one standing. All of a sudden, you've got some new people coming.
Anthony Joshua has gained worldwide fame, transcending the sport of boxing. His combination of physical prowess, humility, and charisma has endeared him to millions of fans around the globe. Joshua's journey to becoming the heavyweight champion is a testament to his hard work, determination, and unwavering belief in his ability.
So you go from that fight to the Anthony Joshua fight.
Yes.
So tell me about the preparation and leading up to that fight.
In fact, the preparation for the Anthony Joshua fight, then I started, after having 4 months of training camp for the Tyson Fury fight, I had this feeling, and then I get a little confident. Now I know how it works, 10 rounds, and then was pretty good. The Tyson Fury fight, I think I sparred 10 rounds for 2 weeks. Yeah, four sparring of 10 rounds barely.
Anthony Joshua's punching power has been a hallmark of his career, with many, including the hosts of the Joe Rogan Experience, JRE, calling him a superhero. His ability to deliver devastating blows has led to countless knockouts and victories.
Like boxers today, if you look at Anthony Joshua, who's the heavyweight champion of the world now.
Is he?
You look at him, yeah, he's a English fellow. He's a tank.
Is he?
Oh man, you look at Anthony Joshua, he looks like a superhero.
Do those guys have as much stamina as these guys do, though?
Oh yeah, they do today.
They did?
Yeah, because the conditioning methods that they have today are just so superior. They understand rest and recovery, and they monitor your heart rate, and they're monitoring lactic acid buildup.
Anthony Joshua's punching power has been a hallmark of his career, with many, including the hosts of the Joe Rogan Experience, JRE, calling him a superhero. His ability to deliver devastating blows has led to countless knockouts and victories.
Anthony Joshua's a big puncher. He's a big puncher, and he's fast. He's fast, and he's a one-punch knockout puncher, as opposed to Tyson Fury can knock guys out with one punch, but really he wears guys out. He beats guys up and then takes them out later, like the Deontay Wilder fight. Like, he beats him up and then he takes them out. You know, whereas Joshua can take people out with one shot. He's a much bigger, physically much more powerful guy.
No, I agree with that, and I knew that. I knew that.
What would you do differently if you could do the Anthony Joshua fight again?
That's the problem. We did everything right. Like,
everything right in preparation.
In preparation, we did everything right.
Joshua's physical attributes combined with his skill and technique make him one of the most dangerous fighters in the sport.
You're either that guy or you're not. Don't let the belts make you. Because when they're not around your waist, you're not going to move like a champion. So for me, I've always felt move like a champion regardless if the belts are around you or not.
Ngannou, known for his devastating knockout power, suffered a loss in their previous encounter with Joshua. Reflecting on the bout, Ngannou said, "I was confused at the time, but it was a big achievement for Joshua beating an opponent like Enan, who further cemented Joshua's legacy as one of the greatest heavyweights of his era." But Joshua isn't content with just one victory. He wants to definitively prove himself by defeating Ngannou once again. Before retiring, Joshua's career has been filled with UPS and downs, but his commitment to the sport has never wavered.
Anthony Joshua should retire. Knuckleheads, he should just shine up those gloves real nice, mount them on the wall behind him, and start a YouTube channel. But in all seriousness, that's the narrative and the opinion given to us by this toxic and bipolar boxing culture ever since he lost to Andy Ruiz, all the way up to when he won and looked good again against Otto Wallin. It shows you how fickle they want you to fight the best people, right? Which would entail, as a fighter, that you could potentially lose. But as soon as you lose, sometimes one fight, they're ready to discard you and toss you by the wayside. And I think it's absolutely unacceptable, not only from casual and hardcore boxing fans and pundits, but it's unacceptable from Hall of Fame inductee boxing journalists like Thomas Hauser, who as recently as May of 2023 was calling on Anthony Joshua to retire from the sport after Anthony Joshua knocked out Robert Helenius, and continue to say the guy should retire. And listen, everybody's entitled to their opinion, and my opinion on Joshua, and you've heard it here a million times on this channel, was he did not look the same subsequent to the Andy Ruiz fight. He was still trying to find his identity. But the difference between me as a promoter who sees what these fighters go through and some of the others is that I'm willing to give the guy a benefit of the doubt and offer him the opportunity to continue to find his identity, to find it, and to come back better.
Ever since Joshua suffered a shocking loss to Andy Ruiz in 2019, many fans have questioned whether he should retire. That defeat was a turning point in his career, as it was the first time he had been decisively beaten.
Well, listen, he's the king now. Yeah. There's no doubt about it. Yeah. He's the king. He's the big man now on campus. I don't care who's out now, the little guys making a lot. He's the big man on campus. Yeah. He's the heavyweight champion.
Tyson, one of the most legendary figures in boxing history, has praised Joshua, calling him the king of heavyweight boxing. Such high praise from a legend like Tyson is a testament to Joshua's impact on the sport and his position among the elite heavyweights of all time. In an interview, Joshua spoke about his journey and the sacrifices he has made to reach the pinnacle of boxing. "I've given my all to this game," he said. "Every ounce of energy, every fight, every training camp has been about being the best." He added, "Anthony Joshua has always had big dreams throughout his career. One of his ultimate goals was to become the WBC heavyweight champion, a title he has yet to win."
Title he has yet to win.
No, Francis Ngannou beat the WBC heavyweight champion of the world. I should be WBC heavyweight champion of the world, right? You know what I mean?
Looking back, Joshua's journey is filled with victories, championships, and iconic moments. He has been a two-time unified heavyweight champion, and his achievements have solidified his place in boxing history. How will Joshua be remembered once he steps away from the sport?
Today we are talking about Anthony Joshua's story so far, because that story, at least in boxing terms, is nearing the final chapter, and we want to know how it's going to end. Will it end with an undisputed world title? Will it end with a win over Tyson Fury? All of that legacy is on the line in this fight against Daniel Dubois, because if you lose this, well, that's all a write-off. And that story started in 1989 in Watford when AJ was born, and his name was actually his full name. I've got this written up here because I don't want to up. Anthony Oluwafemi Olaseni Joshua, and he was nicknamed Femi as a part of his middle name. Absolutely finishes Dillian Whyte in spectacular fashion, and I've seen this image so many times of AJ getting up on those ropes and screaming like the lion in the lion's den. Oh, what a performance that was. That was where he became a bit of a household name, really. That was the moment. And in AJ's very next fight, he would fight Charles Martin for the IBF heavyweight title of the world. It was a huge opportunity for him and a chance to just put the full stop on the last performance against Dillian Whyte, to say, not only am I that guy, I'm now world champion. But AJ, being the guy that he was, he wants legacy. He wants a track record of, I fought everyone in my era, the best of the best, and I beat them all. And he backed himself, and for that reason, I've got to give him credit. What I will say about this fight is my main takeaway from the Usyk fight was the movement of Alexander Usyk. It felt like in that first fight, Anthony Joshua, not only was his game plan all wrong, and obviously he's changed trainers since then for that reason, but he was chasing a shadow. It was like a normal bloke versus Peter Pan or something. Usyk was flying around that. He wasn't staying still for 1 second, and AJ at the time was very much, he needed to plant his feet to really do the damage to you, and because Usyk wasn't stopping moving and the target wasn't staying still for more than a second, he couldn't really put a dent in Usyk.
Make sure to check out some of our other videos on the screen if you enjoyed this one.